Well, when you're ready. Okay, thank you. Uh, all right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. We're it's been a long day, and here we are, still going strong. So many Kidlit creators stepped up to provide the programming for today. We are so grateful to all of them. And just know that any of the videos that or any of the recordings that we're doing today are going to be shared eventually on YouTube. So today is the Children's Day of Action, and it's it's one of the actions that we responded to as the Story Sunbirds, who are a collective of kidlit creatives who center children, who are anti-imperialist, anti-colonialist, anti-racist, and seek justice. Um, we decided to put this read aloud together in commemoration of the 1 year anniversary of the Al Shifa press conference, held by children who were pleading for food, for medical aid, for shelter, and to end the slaughter of civilians in Gaza. And so there are people all across the country who are also doing actions. And this is our contribution from this small collective of people, who really want to make the Palestinian experience in life be one of dignity and safety and peace. So one of the things that we're doing today is raising money. And so if you have $5, if you have $10, if you have $5,000 to spare, please donate to Mecca. You're going to find that information in the chat. Mecca stands for Middle East Children's Alliance. And they have been working, it's an organization that is 30 years strong, and they've been working tirelessly to support not only Palestine, but Lebanon and Syria and all of the different countries in the Middle East who have been just bombarded by wars and starvations and difficulty for many years. So Mecca is a critical organization, and they have people on the ground doing incredible work. So please donate. All right. So with all that said, let's move on to our next presentation. Isabel Quintero is a dear friend of mine as well. This is kind of like the dear friend of Aida's hour. I don't know how this happened, but it did. Isabel Quintero has written many books. One of the seminal books called of Chicana literature, seminal books of Chicana literature called Gabby, a Girl in Pieces. She is also the author of My Papi Rides a Motorcycle, and which won a ton of awards. And now her newest book is called Mama's Panza. And we are going to share her recording of her beautiful book. Mama's Panza means mama's belly. Just give us a second. You got it, Salma? Oh, there it comes. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Isabel Quintero, and I write books for young people. I'm so proud to be participating today in the Children's Day of Action Story Sunbirds Read Aloud. And I apologize that during the recording of this video, stuff is happening outside right now, but that's what happens sometimes, right? I apologize for that. But I'll be reading Mama Panza, illustrated by Eliana Galvez, a story of love. And I thought that reading a story of love between a mama and her child would be an apt kind of book to read today. And I just want all of us, I know sometimes we feel afraid to speak up, but I want to encourage us to all speak up in ways that we can, whether that be emailing representatives, whether that be writing zines, writing books, whether that be protesting on the streets, whether that be sharing information, talking to our neighbors, talking to our families about things that are uncomfortable and unjust. Um, I think those are all ways that we can speak up little by little if we are afraid, right? To speak up big and loud for the first times in our lives. But I think it is very important. I encourage all of us to find those voices inside of us and to move past that fear of speaking up because we're afraid of what may happen to us. Will I get in trouble? Will I, if you're a grown up, will I lose my job? And those things may happen. But I also think that there are bigger things at stake sometimes. And I'm not encouraging anyone to lose their job because I know we all have bills to pay. But I am encouraging us to speak up in the ways that we can, because we cannot afford to be quiet in any way, whether it's about what's happening in Palestine or what's happening in Sudan or what's happening in Congo, because while those countries are very far from us, they are very close to us as well. We are interdependent. We are dependent on each other, and we are dependent in ways that we may not want to acknowledge or see, but that does not obscure the reality, does not make it go away. We live on a planet in which now we are all connected in some way. And so if something is terrible is happening in Palestine, that means that something terrible is also happening here, even if we don't see it on a day-to-day basis. And it is our responsibility to speak up. It is our duty as a citizen, as not only of this country, of the United States, but as a citizen of the world, to speak up, because this is our planet. These are our neighbors. These are our fellow inhabitants. And we cannot afford to be silent. And it's scary, but we got to do it, folks. We really do. And you're not alone in your fear. Even us writers get scared. And I say that for myself, that sometimes I'm scared to speak up. Sometimes I'm scared to write things out. But I think of what the cost of that fear is, and I try to muscle through it. And so please use your voice for good, for positive, progressive change, not just here in this country, but also acknowledging that we need your voice in general, right? Because we all depend on each other. Like I just can't understand how we can't understand that, right? That we are so dependent on each other. Nobody does anything on their own. That is impossible. And so if we don't speak up for each other, then there will be no one to speak up for us, right? And no one to speak up for our children. And I think that is really important that we all recognize that if we stay silent now, we are also staying silent for our children. We are creating a world in which fear is the law of the land. And to me, that is much more frightening than speaking up now, right? So I'm going to read this book, Mama's Panza. And it's a book I wrote for my son. Panza is another word for belly. Big, round, soft, or small and hard. Or somewhere in between, everyone has a panza. My favorite panza is my mama's. She says that for many months, she held me in her panza. She watched it grow and stretch and change. She felt me move inside, my little hand reaching out for hers. Mama dressed her bonsai in bright colors and flowers to show the world that she was blooming. Her bonsai was a big round garden that planted itself wherever we went. It let people know, here we are, make some room, we've got growing to do. Mama says, did you know that this bonsai was your first home? She hugs her bonsai tight. This bonsai was the first place where I felt you move. It was the first place I heard your heartbeat. The first place I held you, my little bonsai pal. She says that bonsai is another word for cradle. I put my hand to her bonsai and imagined what it must have been like inside. Mama's heartbeat so close to mine, thumping my first lullaby. Thump, 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 thump. Mama's bonsai is a drum I like to play. I pat and tun 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 on it with my small hands until Mama shakes and jiggles from laughter. But then it's my bonsai's turn to be a drum. Mama goes pat and tun 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 until I wriggle out and run away. Mama chases me and says, come back with my little drum. This is how I chase my son. I'm a fast runner, but Mama finally catches me and gives me all the kisses. I love your pancita, my sweet love bug. I ask her if she loves her panza too. Mama says this panza is part of me. I cannot love all of me without loving it too. She says our bodies are miracles for what they can do. This panza, this body can bend this way and that. It can run up hills, it can lay in the sun and swim in the ocean. My bonsai kept you alive and keeps me alive as well. How could I not love it? I love her bonsai too. It is a soft landing. When we play wrestle, I jump on Mama and know that her bonsai will cushion my fall, so I am not afraid. I love wrestling with my son. When there are strangers around and I'm feeling shy, Mama's bonsai is a protective shield that keeps me safe. Mama's bonsai is a whole mountain to climb. She lays on the floor, and up I go on Mount Mama, then lay my body at the summit like an exhausted adventurer. At bedtime, before I close my eyes, as we read about calaveras and monsters and about elephants and pigs who are friends, I snuggle into Mama, her bonsai still holding me. Just as it always has. The end. Thank you, folks, for being here with us today. And again, I want us to remember to love each other and love the humanity in each other. Even if we don't like each other, it doesn't mean we have to be jerks to each other, right? Even if we don't like the kid next door or a kid in our class, maybe, that's okay. We don't have to be mean though, and we don't have to be rude, and we can still love that that person is a human and that that person deserves respect. And like I said, love requires action, and so I want us to all feel love and feel love so much that we act on it, so that love can continue to grow and blossom and make the world a safer place for us. And it'll never be perfect. I am under no illusions that by the end of my lifetime, our planet, our world will be a happy place for everybody. But if we all use our voice and our strengths and our anything that we are capable of using or doing to create change, we will create change, and we will make the world a better place for our children here and our children in Palestine, our children in Sudan, and our children in Congo. And we all deserve it. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Okay, we are going to move on to Padma Venkatrama.